Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone's having a wonderful weekend and had a wonderful week. Lots been going on in the sports world, and also kind of a lot's been going on in my personal world at the moment too, so I'm a little behind on getting content out. Wanted to just say thank you for everybody that's been joining in the last few weeks since I got the lovely shout out from John Mangini. It's been nice to see the viewer count go up. I hope you guys are enjoying the content. Hoping to be able to maybe see 100 viewers pretty soon, which would be really cool. I started this back at the end of February, so we're now good 7 months into this venture, and I'm really excited to see that it's been pretty well received overall, and I appreciate people liking videos, commenting, and having an opportunity to view my content. So again, lots going on in the sports world right now. Obviously, NFL's week 3 coming up here. Bears are 1-1, which I can't complain. Didn't have high hopes for them. Unfortunately, my White Sox laid a major egg this week and are going to be probably on the verge of being eliminated this weekend. Very disappointing season for them, but I kind of captured that a little bit in a previous video where they kind of remind me a lot of the 2001 White Sox. But that was 4 years before they won the World Series. So you just never know what may happen when they decide to kind of make some changes. And I'll have the whole off season to kind of talk about my ideas about changes for the White Sox. So that's not going to be my purpose for the video today, or we're going to show you. But obviously the big baseball stories center around two of the guys that are on the screen here. I decided also to kind of add in Barry Bonds, the single season home run leader, and also the all-time home run leader in there. Say what you will about his colored past with the possibility of him being linked to steroids. But I put him in there. He's got the record, got a Hank Aaron signed ball over there, previously had the record. So I just wanted to kind of honor those guys as we're kind of talking about some records falling here, or guys reaching major milestones in the last few days. So I don't have a Babe Ruth card to show you. That would be something I would have already showed you at this point if I had a vintage Babe Ruth card. Maybe at some point in the future. But just hell of a season by Aaron Judge. Just been an amazing season for him. Just seeing how much he's far outpacing everybody statistically in the American League. I think just across baseball too. Really excited to kind of see where he lands, and I would love to see him getting close to 70, but obviously we're down to just a week, so that's not going to happen. But great to see him maybe pass the American League home run record, and I know some people feel like that's still like the legitimate home run record, single season home record. I have my own opinions on that, but I don't think that's why you're listening in right now. Maybe another time I'd kind of share my own opinions on the steroid era and the guys that had it. But Albert Pujols, man, just one of my favorite players of the last, all time really, but definitely in the last 25 years. So this was before my dad's a big Cardinal fan. So I kind of vicariously am a Cardinal fan as well through him. Even though the White Sox are my team, I'll root for them every time they play the Cardinals, without question. But he's just been fun to watch, and it just looks right back in the Cardinal uniform this season. Boy, he just looks like younger these last couple of months, and it definitely, you can see he's gotten in better shape than he's been in years. Just moving a little bit quicker all around. Has lost a lot of that extra weight he was carrying the last few seasons when he was struggling with injuries. It's been great to see him kind of move off into the sunset and have this wonderful time just being the center of attention in baseball one last time, because I think he's finally getting some attention that is due. So we're talking about all-time great players. So they're the backdrop. So the thing that as I went to the LUDEX card show again, it looks like they're going to be having it once a month here in Roselle, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. So I went there again today with a couple of my friends, same friends we went with last time. One of them, on the channel, Robbie. And we had an opportunity to kind of go around the show. I'm going to show you some things that I picked up over the course of the show, and also one item that came this week in the mail. But again, more well attended than before, than I saw back in August. So it seems like the word's getting out. Mostly modern stuff. There was some vintage there, but it wasn't a lot of vintage graded stuff this time. It was mostly vintage raw stuff. And my experience kind of working with the guys is that they were all nice people, the guys that were dealers there, but the prices were a little hard to kind of negotiate and move, which is fine. Obviously they have their own reasons why they want to be able to kind of hold the price as what they will. But just some cool stuff that I kind of missed out on just because I couldn't justify the expense on some of the items. But I'm going to show you what I picked up here, so I hope you guys enjoy it here. So I'll put this in the middle to highlight some of the cards I got. One of the first ones I got in the mail, actually maybe move that off to the side, I don't need to show you that, was another one of the 2001 Topps Golds cards. So these again are the serial numbered cards to 2001 from the 2001 Topps set. I decided to expand it a little bit to include these guys from the Golden Moments and Season Highlights cards too. So I got Nolan Ryan this week as a best offer. Thought it was a pretty good price to be able to pick it up. As a kid, I wasn't a huge Nolan Ryan fan, although I appreciated everything that he did. But I was kind of just into other players at the time. But as like years have passed and he's been retired, I just kind of grow to appreciate the career accomplishments that he really did. I don't think we'll see some of the things ever accomplished again that he was able to do. So got Nolan Ryan there. I got to pick that one up. So that was the only thing that came in the mail this week. Everything else are card show pickups. I'm going to start with probably with kind of going back in probably chronological order here, except for maybe the final two items. I'll leave those off to the side here. So I want to start with mostly White Sox cards. I went to the guy that had a whole box of White Sox cards, again, vintage cards. So I got a 62 Topps Luis Aparicio card I did not have before. Pretty good condition card there. Got a 1961 postcard. It's my very first post serial card into Luis Aparicio. I don't know how many years they did these. I'd have to do a little more research on these, but I'm sure there's people out there that are much more knowledgeable on these sets. But typically these things are all going to be hand cut, so some of the corners on here are not great. You can kind of see somebody did use scissors to be able to cut these cards. But you know, they have blank backs, but these are kind of cheap ways to be able to pick up Hall of Famers from the 1960s, and they kind of fill in an oddball collection a little bit too. I think that may have been, Nellie Fox may have been in some of those sets too, but as far as like White Sox Hall of Famers, I wanted to get Aparicio. Then I went through, bought things from 3 different dealers today, and I was able to get good prices on all of these things. Most of the raw cards I'm showing you came from all one person except for this one. That was the 1961 Topps MVP series of Nellie Fox to commemorate his 1959 MVP season. So I bought this with the graded card, so we'll kind of hold that one off to the side there. So I kind of remember to kind of talk about the experience. And all the other raw cards came from the same guy and was able to give me a bulk price on them. And I got another 1961 Topps card, and this is Early Win. So I'm getting closer to getting most of Early Win's cards, even though that probably wasn't my intention kind of when I started this project, but it's getting pretty close. And then I got one more Nellie Fox. I got the 1959 Topps Nellie Fox. This is the year he actually won the MVP. So I got those together, all from the same guy, these 4 together. I think I paid maybe $30 for them all together. Again, not a huge savings there, but it was a really nice guy. I liked being able to talk with him, so I wanted to pick up something at his booth before I left. And then, as I mentioned, I got this card along with the only graded card I picked up today from the same dealer, and he priced some things to move. So actually, it's not a card, it's actually the stamps. So it's the I'll hold up to the camera first. It's the 1962 Topps stamp panels. So these usually had 2 players on here, players that were typically featured throughout the 1962 Topps set too. But these were stamped inserts that got put into later series cards. And the reason I kind of know that, at least later series packs, is because it says he's with St. Louis, and he was barely with St. Louis. I think he was there right at the end of the 62 season and maybe for a few games in 63. So I think he was actually coming from the White Sox. That's why I have his hat all airbrushed out here. So that's why I kind of know it was probably a later release. I'm not sure what series they came in. If you guys know that information, feel free to kind of just chime in there in the comments. I'm sure there's some guys that know that stuff better than I. But it was cool. First stamp I was able to pick up in the collection. I think it's kind of a nice little addition here in the background. And then my big purchase of the day is aligned a bit with something I picked up last time. As you can remember, I picked up a Topps Giants card of Luis Aparicio at my last card show appearance. So this one I went a little bit bigger, and I got the big Hall of Fame SP card that was in there, and that is the Say Hey Kid, Willie Mays. I'd say this is probably excellent condition at best. And I was able to negotiate it down to about 100 which I thought was a fair price for the card. In the back there has a little news stories about Willie Mays or any of the players that are featured. I'm pretty happy to add that into the collection. I think the last sort of more big expensive one from 64 that I wouldn't have that's a Hall of Famer is going to be Mickey Mantle, because he's Mickey Mantle. And everything for Mickey Mantle is kind of expensive, as I'm finding. So that's it, guys. I hope you guys are going to have a great weekend. 2 weeks out from the Chicago Marathon, so I'm hoping to be able to kind of do a little video kind of talking about my experience of doing that as we get closer to that weekend. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and take care.